Hey, Armand here with a quick and dirty forecast for the week of June 6, 2021. It's solar eclipse week. Is anything else happening this week? I don't know. A couple of other things are happening. Is the solar eclipse happening? Maybe. I mean, it's happening, but what is it like? What's a solar eclipse like? I was trying to think and I came to this conclusion. It reminds me a lot of when I was a kid, we used to love to play like around the 4th of July. We used to love to play with fireworks. They were wisely illegal, but usually somebody could get them for us, and we used to like to play with fireworks. Uh, we had adult supervision most of the time, which is good. You know, usually adults that had to go procure them for us anyway, because our parents liked playing with them just as we did. Anyway, so you have some fairly substantial fireworks there. We had things like M80s and cherry bombs and stuff. These are big explosives. I don't even know why they're fun to play with. They're just explosives. It's just going to blow stuff up. That's it. Not like there's lights go flying around and things like that. They just explode. Anyways, but we like them. So what you do is you take an M80 or something like that, and maybe you dig a hole in the ground and you put some toys that you no longer were all that fond of around it and stuff like that. And then you'd light the M80 and drop it in the hole. And after a while, you'd have a big explosion. It was like a bomb or an earthquake or something, whatever you thought it was. Anyway, the quality control on these things was very good, and they rarely failed. But once in a while, you would light the fuse, drop it in the hole, or toss it over in the sump or something like that. And it seemed like nothing was happening. You would say, gee, doesn't seem like it should have gone off by now. Should have gone off by now. And you're never quite sure, you're not sure. Is this, well, I maybe I'm just anticipating, or sometimes the fuse would seem to go out and then sort of restart itself. Sometimes it genuinely went out and nothing happened. Sometimes it burned down to the end and nothing happened. You had a dud. And that's what a solar eclipse is like. The fuse is lit and you're anticipating, but you don't know. Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is something going to come of this? Is nothing going to come of this? That's the feeling of a solar eclipse. And that's what we're at this week. More likely, sometimes things happen on solar eclipses, but more likely, not much is going to happen. But we are seeding, because it's a new moon, so we're seeding things that will take place probably in about 9 months or so, but at some point in time in the future. And we'll get an idea of what it is. It's eclipse time. We know what's important. We feel it in the collective and in our personal lives. We're feeling it. We're aware. And we know what issues, but we're not seeing it yet. Only very, very occasionally do you have big events on a solar eclipse. It's a new moon. It's an implosive kind of feeling more than explosive. Maybe my fireworks analogy wasn't too good. Anyways, the eclipse is angular, that not visible, but angular through the middle of the United States, going pretty close to Minneapolis, right through St. Louis. And then it cuts down through Colombia and the central part of South America to like the chunk of Brazil, and sort of pops out through Uruguay. It is very powerful on the Korean peninsula. It cuts through Java, and it goes through Central Europe, like on a line from Stockholm through Budapest. Places you might want to look at. A lot of those places have, pretty strong dictatorial governments in the neighborhood of where the eclipse is angular, although I think you could probably make that argument for a lot of places where the eclipse is not angular. So maybe that's not a thing. But anyway, it's an implosive energy. If you have something right around 19, 20 degrees of mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, that's me, Sagittarius, Pisces, then you may get a little bit more extra energy out of this eclipse, both on Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, when the eclipse is exact, and then going forward from there. You know, this is giving you some sort of new beginnings in the area of life signified by the planet in your chart. Generally, though, there's a sense of anticipation. You know, I think I usually say it's like the time before a thunderstorm, when you see the dark clouds rolling in, but there's no lightning yet. It's a little like that. There's anticipation. It's a sense of anticipation and a little bit of the anxiety that goes with that. Coming out of the eclipse, we have some interesting aspects. We have Venus is going to square Chiron and then go ahead to sextile Uranus. Venus is in Cancer, where there's a sort of a traditionalist kind of vibe towards socializing and things like that. My sense is that the square to Chiron could make us feel a little bad about our relationship stuff. And then the sextile to Uranus says, well, let's open up and see what we can do. It's like, if things aren't working, you know, let's make a change. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it ain't working, try something new. It's kind of the vibe for that in terms of socializing. But, you know, anything that happens this week is either coming into that new moon, which sort of signals anticipation and endings, or coming out of the new moon eclipse, which kind of signals a little bit, well, it's just, we're not there yet. You know, it's going to take a little while, probably till at least, you know, Saturday. Well, Saturday night might be fun. It's not a ton of energy associated with it, but there is kind of a good feel. So the sense of it is, this is a week when not a lot is going to happen, but you'll feel it. And if a lot of stuff does happen, well, allow me to say that I called that too.